Hi, Pamela. Welcome. I'm sorry my video is not working right now, but I got here. You got here. How are you doing? Can you hear me? Oh, you're muted. Let me unmute you.
Yep.
You got
There.
it. Yeah. Hello and welcome.
Hi, darling.
How are you doing?
Good.
Wonderful. I am so happy with the news that you shared today, and thought that it now is a great opportunity. I've been looking at the news and how much pressure is being put on all of the politicians to start being humane again.
Just being human. I love that word. Humane, human. I said it last night. We need to be part of our human tribe again.
Yeah.
Listen, my folks from San Francisco just got back. Their investigator informed them on their way home that they are going to move their meeting from Monday until after the July 4th holiday because he has to, quote unquote, attend a regional conference, which would make sense for all the cases I'm aware of. Over 1,000 kids home, and it is now speculated up to 10,000 children will be either reevaluated and back in home with PCO or non-PCO orders in the next month, in the next 30 days.
Wow, that's
yeah,
wonderful. And I wanted to welcome. We have another member here tonight on mute right now, and I want to welcome you. So I'm going to unmute you. Who is this that is joining the Parent Advocate Network tonight? Hello. Is this Dale? Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Okay, well, that's great. Well, listen, things, our schedule got a little goofed up, so I'm joining you by cell phone, so we'll just make the best of it.
Welcome, Dale. Thank you for joining us tonight. I am working to get Kelly on as well. I'm so glad that you could make it. I know that there's a lot going on right now, and Pamela has brought some really wonderful news to everyone, and we want to spread this like wildfire because this will bring our children back immediately, practically.
It darn well better.
Yeah.
It darn well better.
So this is 3 different departments that are working together to expose this, to start bringing our children home. Is that correct?
Okay, so this is my understanding. Let me tell you what I know for a fact, and then let me tell you where my speculation begins and is slowly being proved out, not only by my San Francisco couple who just came home from a second visit from not seeing their kids in almost 7 weeks. Kids, again, in horrible condition. And again, the almost 3-year-old disclosing that this person she's around in her environment kicks her, slaps her, basically very physically rough and to neglect and abuse.
Yeah.
And the worker didn't even raise an eyebrow. Okay, didn't even raise an eyebrow. So that said, what we understand is the following. Okay, for whatever reason, Wallace Pate had given me this information back in November of last year. Call your DAs, let them know you're not getting due process, and we had discussed that as soon as I held that workshop. Lyra, do you remember?
Yes.
Okay, so some people had started doing it. What we didn't know is, and what Wallace, I think herself didn't understand, these DA offices act just like the CPS hotline when parents call, or when you try and lodge a complaint with the local police when something's going on with your kid. They poo-poo you off because you're a CPS parent and they think it's a nuisance call, right?
Right.
Well, the DA was acting in the exact, well, I shouldn't say acting, I don't think it was an act, I think it was very genuine. They were behaving in the same vein as these other, that are supposed to be backstops to make sure this type of behavior isn't happening to children that are out of their parents' care and are in the state's care, because state parenti is supposed to be the ultimate parent and better than you, which is why they take them out of the home, with no, of course, assessment of risk or danger if your child stays in your home. Anyway, never mind. Don't get me started. So these parents were calling the DAs and they were being poo-pooed out of necessity and having forgot the information in November. My parents were literally up against a wall. We had a disclosure to a CPS transportation aide of absolute evidence sexual abuse coming out of the mouth of a babe. Okay, this guy was tore up from the floor up, as were the parents. So you can't call the hotline and you can't call the police, because when this happened last time, yes, last time, their lawyers and CPS caseworker at the time said, and I quote, "If you ever call the hotline or police again, we will make sure you never see your children." Okay. When you're a parent, you hear those words and you are deep down in the belly of this beast, you believe them. There's no reason for you not to believe them. Well, what does that leave? As an advocate, as an educated woman who I think I know how the world should work but doesn't, I said, screw it, let's call the DA. I called as an advocate on speaker with my parents in the room, calling on their behalf. And I swear to God, it took off like a shot, like a falling star across the sky. I'd never seen anything like it. I had an advocate within minutes. He was on it. He took all the bullet points. He took the names. He took my address and my number. They had an investigator on the phone with them in less than 2 hours. And that investigator has touched back base with them and staying in contact with them, including the mother being able to tell this investigator, this is what my child disclosed. This is what the CPS monitor, a different monitor this time, of course, said today. They won't write incident reports. You know, I can't call the hotline or the police for fear I will never see my children again. I don't want to go 7 to 8 weeks again without seeing them as a punishment for trying to protect my children from the state.
Right.
Okay. Now there's over 1,000 children from the end of life feed. I do not have an accurate count today, but I want to say it's over 2,500, or we're coming very close to, even though it's the weekend. 2,000, almost 500 children have come home to their parents with cases that have gone on for more than 6 months and a day. Gee, isn't that convenient? We all know what that 6 months and a day is all about, don't we? That's a full year of Title IV funds going to the state in 8 different tentacles that I have found so far.
Wow.
Okay. That's what that's all about.
This is that gross misappropriation of funds from our Social Security retirement fund being used to take our children away from us, caring, loving parents who with little to no reason for such action, and all in the name of the dollar bill, right?
Correct. And it's 8 different veins that I have found thus far. I am no forensic accountant. If we have people that are great at forensics and accounting, please start teaching us so that we can find if there's more than 8, because it's not just CPS workers being paid, just foster care providers being paid. No, 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 no. It's so much deeper than that. You've got the medical side, you've got the legal side, you've got the county pretender side, you've got the judge and all the people that work around the judge, commissioner, magistrate. You've got the county board of commissioners, county board of supervisors, and or magistrates. That's coast to coast.
And then there's
they
also
all get a piece.
There's also the subcontracts to, like, psychiatrists for psych evals that are specifically paid out of funds, those Title IV funds that actually are being used to adopt our children out as incentivized adoption.
Well, and when we've got the MSM admitting to Title IV Class E funds, I'm sorry, let's go up the alphabet a little bit. The alphabet doesn't start with E, does it?
No.
No, it doesn't. It starts with A. I have found C all the way down to G. I have not yet found A and B yet, and I know they exist. I just haven't found it yet.
Wow. So this is unraveling very quickly. This is wonderful to hear. And I was going to share what Don Rufty had drafted up based on what you shared with both me and Don and others. And so this is what Don Rufty has written up. This you can find on Facebook under Don Rufty post /102-162-11032-406-235. you can't get to there, just go to Don Ruffy's Facebook page, and I think you'd be able to find this particular post because it was just published an hour ago, a little over an hour ago. This post states, the FBI crackdown on CPS, Child Protective Services. The news was announced this morning to the amazement of many people in the family rights movement that the FBI has begun raids of CPS offices around the country. This is what Pamela has been talking about, and this is just more reinforcement that what we've been doing is starting to actually have an effect. And I heard also that there is some news broadcast stations now, like major news broadcast stations, that are taking up this call as well.
Oh, which ones?
I believe it was on New York station. I forget. I was reading it. I'm trying to get all of this information in such a small amount of time, but
right.
It was some major news station in New York, I believe.
I will look it up because New York was the last county CPS office we heard that had been overtaken and should have a black trailer in its parking lot very soon, if not there now, before I went live last night at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So they're not working Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. This is now a 24/7 operation.
That is wonderful. I mean, this is the beginning. The tide has turned. We're making a difference in getting our children back. And one of the things I was going to ask you regarding the number of complaints that are called into any single county, and it's the county DA offices that people have to be calling, correct?
Correct. And it's not my understanding that it has to be 55 different cases. I don't know what it is with the number 55. I really don't. When it comes down to these numbers and why a certain amount has to be reached before this ball gets rolling, I don't know. I have no problem saying I don't know. If I don't know something, I'll tell you I don't know. If I'm speculating, I'll tell you I'm speculating. This is just their number. I had understood from Wallace that it was 50. Now I'm understanding it's 55.
Wow.
And I get that from a very, very solid source who has verified this county after county after county, regardless of state. So it's 55. Now, it's not 55 different cases. You can have one case and have 10, 15 people calling on it. It's once there's 55 total complaints against a county CPS division that gets this ball rolling. That first phone call must be from an advocate with the parent on the phone, able to say, yes, I'm allowing this person to advocate for me. Yes, this is my child or children. Yes, this is my case. Yes, I am giving permission.
Okay.
It's very important because when parents are calling on their own, you're just kind of poo-pooed to the side or have been. And I don't want any parent doing this on their own. So we need to stand up and advocate for one another.
Okay.
Know the case well. If you have shot yourself in the foot, and people, I'm sorry if you find this judgmental, please find a place in your heart to forgive me for what I'm about to say. If you are an abuser, if you are a drug addict, if you have a sexual issue, we cannot help you at Save Our Children. I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
We have enough parents, 80 to 90% any given year over the past 30 years of children who have been snatched out of their homes that do not come from abusive, at-risk, or dangerous homes. If you have a problem, this system is set up for you. It's not set up for your children, but it is set up for you, and you will get your children back faster than fit, loving parents who are being preyed upon by a greedy, money-hungry entity.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yes.
And please forgive me if that offends anyone. I'm sorry if it offends you. That is not my intention. It is just fact.
Dale, you wanted to say something?
What?
Oh, are you there?
No, I'm dealing with that person or somebody.
We have Kelly and Marge here tonight as well. Welcome to the network. This is going to start snowballing. So parents with disabilities, such as yourself, Kelly, such as myself, we can have our advocates calling the county DA office, and this will start a process, and talk to others who are in your county that have had the similar experiences, because they will also need to be calling the DA office. That's the whole point here, is that we need to have a certain number of cases that are being brought to the attention of the DA office in your county in order for an open investigation to be done in not only your case, but all cases within the Department of Children and Family Services. Okay. So it's important that, you know, what we're talking about is making phone trees in each county almost, you know, so we have like, what county are you in?
Jackson County,
Yeah.
Missouri.
What county was that?
I think they're talking about that.
What county was that? I'm sorry.
Me?
Jackson County, Missouri.
I'm Jackson.
Jackson County. So any parent in Jackson County who has been discriminated against, has lost their parental rights or is losing their parental rights, involved in a DHS case of any kind that has a valid reason why this should not have been done.
Okay, I'm lost in what you're saying.
Yeah, we are.
Well, okay, so if
Send them to my live feed, Lyra. Send them to my live feed, because I spell it out 3 different times in 3 different ways, and that might be easier for people to absorb over a period of time.
yeah,
And I
it needs
repeat
a
it enough
very-
that it makes sense.
That's right. I was gonna open it up and share it here if you didn't come and join us tonight. Let me see, now I have to find it.
Ha!
Oh
You can
my,
always go to my FB page, because I know it's hard.
I found it.
Okay.
So this is a link that is to the live feed that Pamela has shared with a number of people, and everybody should get in and listen to this live feed. And it spells it out. It spells out what you need to do and who this applies to. So the sorry there. The link
Yeah.
is here. I don't know. Can anybody see that? Can I copy?
Yeah.
Copy and paste that?
I can definitely see it. And you can always go to the Save Our Children on FB. Go down a little bit, because I posted a few articles earlier today. It's not pinned to the top because I forgot. And it'll go ahead and play for you. Share it to any parent that you know is suffering through this, and or family law court. Let's not leave out our poor brothers and sisters who are being abused in family law court, because CPS has now encroached upon that court as well.
So this is the Facebook page, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Save our.
Has the different DFS offices been contacted on this?
Yes.
And so what's the status with that? I mean, I heard what you said the other night on the parent advocate, but I was wondering, I wasn't clear whether or not all DFS, CPS, whatever, have been contacted about this.
I'm not sure either. What Lyra and I are both trying to do, I think the phone tree idea for Lyra is just a stroke of brilliance. We need to start counting up these counties, because it's county by county. So
Right.
in California alone, there's 58 counties. I'm trying to figure out how many counties in California have already been called on, so we can catch up on the ones that haven't. And then let's go to
Okay.
Oregon, Washington. So literally start looking in your state what counties have been called. And they all
How do you
have
find
a little
that?
black construction type trailer that's out there. And that's where the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, and the DA office is combing through every single file. And they're starting with children they take right off mom's boob after having them, and or parents who have just lost their rights or about to lose their rights. They're hitting those first, but that doesn't mean that yours is being pushed to the
Okay,
side.
she's lost her rights, and there were
Then
about.
Well, that was.
She lost her rights a year ago, but we've been contesting it, and it's still kind of up in the air. But I just we haven't heard from the appeals court again, so I didn't know what that meant, where that may stand as far as chances of getting him back any sooner.
Oh, I do know that you would be remiss not to take this opportunity and have an advocate call your county your county DA about the county CPS that even got it to the place where it is, where she's lost her rights and are fighting in appeals. Because
Right.
it still qualifies. It still counts.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, but then the other thing is, I was wondering, okay, I'm an advocate. Since I'm the grandmother, though, can I be an advocate for her?
You need to be an advocate for somebody else. It can't be a family member
Okay.
or a close friend playing advocate. It needs to be someone separate from close relationship to you, as in family or close
Okay,
friend.
okay.
I don't know why. I honestly don't. I'm trying to figure out why they have these odd do's and don'ts legalese. I tripped on it out of sheer luck. I had no clue what I was doing. None. I just happened to trip over it, like many other people who've been called to do this, tripped over it. And for some reason, it's like pachinko. It just hit just right. So I am sharing what I know, and then I'm getting so much feedback of, this is what I did too, just like you did, and this is what happened as well. So it's happening over and over and over, regardless what state. So I know it works. And then I'm getting great, feedback in how many children were returned home in just 24 hours of us reporting from Wednesday to Thursday. And then Thursday to Saturday, I believe the last, not totally verified number, was almost 2,500 children have already been returned home or in the process of being returned home.
Okay, so what does that do to, because okay, Michael is with the adoptive, in quotes, parents, and they were about to start to adopt him. And the foster parents, and what does that put due to the status now?
It stops everything dead cold.
Oh, really?
Until it is fully gone through with a fine tooth comb. The moment they find even one point where due process was not given you under the codes and statutes of these procedural admiralty courts, it goes all the way back to day one, and your child, you'll be called and said, come pick up your child.
Okay, so the other thing is that this was also a case of Children's Mercy Hospital was in collusion with the DFS in taking Michael away and getting Michael put into DFS. And so do we try to make sure we go back to that?
Absolutely. You bring up bullet points, and I'm asking every parent, write at least 6. Remember the last time we spoke and I said there's at least 50 points of contention in every CPS and or family law case where they've screwed up. Every single CPS case, family law case, has 50 procedural points of malfeasance. So everything from, this is a case of medical kidnap, collusion, they have perjured themselves, what kind of over medication has he gotten, under medical help has he gotten, parent alienation, whatever your case holds, which is why it's so important every advocate understand your case. Will it take a couple of hours to download? Yes, but it's worth 2 hours of someone's time so they can make that call for you, and then you can return the favor
and who do I get
call for someone else.
Who do we get for an advocate?
Let's put your name up on that side of the tree that Lyra was talking about. I'll let Lyra tell you about her idea for the phone tree, okay?
So this here is the state by state, county by country page album that we have created at the Coalition for Protection of Children and Families on Facebook. And so each state has a flag that, you know, parents can be advocates for each other under. And like, for example, here in California, we have parent advocate Lyra Jubb, Renee Howard, and Maria Alcorn, and Pamela Olson, and Fernando Morales, and Amber Reed, and many others that are joining in on this list. And what this does is this helps parents in your area be able to connect with other parents, be able to connect with other advocates, and then start this phone tree, like I was saying, where by each county, you have parents that have had their rights violated, have had a lot of false information considered to be true information in the court system, and all of that has been against parents, and we are now able to start getting the justice that we deserve instead of this injustice and criminality that this court circus has perpetuated for years.
Okay, so do we need to, okay, what, like working with you and Dale, what are we supposed to do about that?
Well, we can actually be your advocates because you've already sent us the material and the information about your case. It doesn't matter if we're in the same county or not. It's just to help parents be able to establish connections in counties, in states where everybody is experiencing the same persecution and the same violation of civil rights and human rights. And that is, that's important because we're building a community of family and reunification. And this, we can share, all of our experiences and understanding with other parents in our area, and then it just becomes expanded from there. And that's the beautiful thing about this, and this whole internet community that we are a part of. So
Amen, Lyra. Amen to that. I love that. You stated that so perfect. Exactly what needs to happen. We need to become the human tribe again.
yes, that is the most important thing that they have been trying to destroy in us, because people who do not think for themselves, think for their families, think for their communities, because it has all been destroyed, their morale has been destroyed, and they have become machines, human machines, not being able to think. Well, now it's time for us to start working together to bring back those connections to our roots, to our families, to our communities, and rebuilding what has been destroyed for many, many years. It's time to rebuild now.
Okay, what about the documentation?
Okay, again, the documentation that you have shared with Dale and myself, we are looking over, and I know that you are also looking it over. We will get a good idea of what has happened in your case from the beginning to where you are now. And the objective here is, with our own understanding of you, of what we have seen within Kelly and her capabilities and ability to communicate and ability to process things, this we can then take to the DA's office in your county, in Jackson County, Missouri, and we can call and say, well, we know you, we know this case, these are the violations, and we want you to look into this.
Okay, so do we have to be with you on the phone at the same time, or what?
Yes, Pamela says yes.
Okay.
Pamela says yes. So that is a very good question, Marge. Thank you very much for that question. That was very important for us to all know.
Okay.
And then, so three-way calls we can do, they're pretty easy to do these days now. So I don't think that will be an issue. And we just got to keep on spreading this information to get more parents in the know, more advocates in the know. And I have been sharing, ever since I read Pamela's post this morning, I have been trying to share the heck out of it. And now Facebook is denying me the ability to share this anymore. And I have been experiencing a lot of that lately because, as you know, when we start making grounds, there are those people in high places that are going to try to shut us down. And so it's very important that we use all of the social media tools that we have at our abilities to use. Twitter, what is that other one? I'm
YouTube, Periscope, BitChute, Steam. Go to your local newspaper. Go to your local county or neighborhood blog.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, you know, because I have Reform Mendocino County CPS as one of the pages. And so then I can publish for Mendocino County so that parents can find out this information and be able to take actions from there. And there's groups that we need to be sharing information of as well. And I'm fumbling over my words because this is so exciting. But sorry about that.
That's okay.
So, you know,
Yay!
hey, and it's kind of funny that my video isn't working right now, but everybody else's is. I have to figure that one out.
The bride is there.
Yeah, it is.
And so I have published on this chat a link to Pamela's tutorial. It's an 1.5-hour tutorial on how to proceed. And I will also be publishing this on the coalition page. And please go to our coalition Facebook page, the Coalition for Protection of Children and Families, and start sharing from there. Share from the Parent Advocate Network page. We have that one as well. We have Save Our Children page as well. Share it as you can everywhere. We want everybody to start knowing that this can happen. This is real. And the more of us that do this, the faster everybody's going to get their children back.
Okay, when was this decided? I didn't realize, I thought it was just the immigrants.
Oh, so let me clarify. Now I've told you what I know. Let me do a little bit of speculation and hypothesizing.
Okay.
I couldn't understand the specific verbiage our current president used when he signed his most recent EO. It just wasn't flowing in my brain as normal English. And I thought, oh, well, maybe this is part of that legalese, weird DC stuff. But our POTUS, our current POTUS, he's not there on an ideology. He's there to fix what's broken. He really isn't a conservative, and he's not really, he's not doing the red, blue, rah stuff. He's really just there to try and clean up as much as he can. So the next people we elect, then we'll have our new parties and we can get back into that. But everything's going to be fixed and our nation's going to be given back to us. That's really all this guy wants to do, okay? He's a businessman. He's not a politician.
Yeah.
Right.
I kept reading and rereading. I'm a big Q fan. If you don't know about Q, start listening. Praying Medic is incredible. Deception Bites, incredible. Total Eclipse, amazing. McAllister TV, she herself is an actual reporter that used to work at CNN before she was red-pilled. So these are people that are going to give you, that are trusted, vetted, and they're my personal sources for much of the information I come up with that we can't figure out why things are going on. So from these sources, I'm able to speculate. That verbiage was said. There's a phrase in there. Any child on American soil.
Oh, really?
And it kind of fit in there a little bit. That includes American citizens, immigrant children, illegal or otherwise, children who are staying over like a vacation with their auntie or their grandparents.
Right.
Any child on this nation's soil is now covered under that EO.
Okay.
Now, all of a sudden, we have DAs and the Department of Homeland Security and FBI combing through all these cases and shutting CPS down.
Okay. Do you know if are they okay? Did they shut the whole thing down, or do they have to wait till you get to that?
Well, it's not that it's shut down. It is in the process of being combed through, looked at case by case. Let's get these kids home, or if they're truly from abuse, let's get these parents in jail and find these children a beautiful new home. There are children who are abused. I have never said there aren't children who are horribly abused. Normally, CPS won't help those kids because they cost money. They don't make them money, right?
Yeah.
Which is why the largest portion they take are healthy, loved children from healthy, fit homes. Okay. So slowly, I think instead of getting rid of CPS, we always need to keep the welfare of our nation's children
Right.
our top responsibility because they're our future. That doesn't mean we need CPS. It does mean we can use much of what I mentioned the last time you and I spoke. We can use already our hospitals, our nurses, our EMTs, our teachers, our dentists, our mandated reporters as our eyes.
Right.
We can always have a hotline tip that goes straight to police. Police straight to a civil or a criminal court. If you've abused your children, you deserve the orange jumpsuit and to be behind those bars. If you have not abused your child, then that is county services coming into your home to help. If it's poverty, if it's a difficult medical issue, if something tragic has happened in the home and everything is just up in the air and the child is having a hard time dealing with it, which is where CPS began way back when it started. It didn't change until Mondale Act of 74 when they could make big money off of it, okay?
Right.
That's when it changed. Mondale Act. The Mondale Act is not a bill. It's an act, which means it should have been repealed in the late 80s, early 90s at the latest. And they never did it because the states got greedy.
Yeah.
And that's occurred under red and blue leadership, red and blue presidents. They're all in on it, folks. There's no red and blue. There's just us and them.
Right.
Who
And
right now is, okay, he's with the foster parents, but who right now actually has legal rights to make sure that he's getting the medical treatment he needs, that type of thing?
Currently, as the state writes its state constitution, many have, as Fernando Morales has cited, the 7th Amendment incorrectly. And they have said, we are status parenti. We are a better parent than you. We are taking control of your child. Okay? So that is who ultimately is in control of your child, even when your child is at home with you. The state says, we're going to allow you to house, feed, clothe, and demand you carry insurance for this child, have car seats, insurance on your car, medical, vaccines, and education, or we'll come take that child and we'll become that child's parent. So even though that child is in your home, the state still considers themselves the ultimate parent. They have read the 7th Amendment wrong. Fernando Carlos Morales will be rewriting a petition that will bookend Don Ruffy's EO order
good.
to finally, once and for all, clarify the 7th Amendment through the Supreme Court of these United States, otherwise known as SCOTUS, as well as Don Ruffy's EO, to banish Title 18-242, wiping out a county entity or status parenti over any child. They are our children, not the state's.
Right.
Okay, so we're still working on that. This is just blowing up. You guys are at the very beginning of a tsunami that looks like a wave this big that's going to become a 25-foot wall of water by the time we're done.
Like that picture of the eagle coming through the wave. That was an awesome image. I love that one.
Yeah.
It was the Mondale Act of 1944?
1974.
74, I'm sorry.
Yes, and that's the guy who actually said before his signature's ink was even finished drying on the paper, quote unquote, I fear I have just created the most corrupt government entity.
And it did. It definitely did.
But they figured they were going to take it down within, 15 years, so it didn't really matter,
Well,
So,
this
okay,
is
so
just
now-
such wonderful news. Yes.
So basically now you just get in contact with your the parent advocate, and then you decide together when you want to present this to the district attorney.
Correct. And once you call, then friends and family can call and say, I know this case. I have seen the malfeasance. I have seen the illegality. And I also am in support of you investigating this case. They only need 55 calls. That's not 55 different cases. It's just 55 calls. When you call to open a case or request an investigation on your case, that first call must be an advocate and you together.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And here, what I'm showing is for the state of California, the district attorney's offices. There's a link here that I've shared, and I will be doing this for every state on the photo album under the Coalition for Protection of Children and Families. And then it will take you directly to the county by county list, all of the district attorneys in this state. So this is for the state of California. And by the end of tonight, I should have all of the rest of them available there as well.
Oh, you rock, Lyra. Oh my gosh, you are a rock goddess, girl.
I was just, I take things and I run with them if I can.
You are just awesome, because that kind of stuff takes me forever, because my phone has been blowing up nonstop for over a week. So I don't have time to do that stuff. So God bless you, Lyra, for the awesome stuff that you do. I swear, it's just, this is so, see, it's taking all of us. It takes a village of advocates to take care of a village of children, right?
Yes, we're absolutely.
She's celebrating her freedom.
Right.
From school.
Yeah, that's
She doesn't want to lose track of doing things, so she has to keep up doing something.
right. And I just ended my summer classes, so I'm able to spend more time on the Parent Advocate Network and on getting the information out that is needed. So like I say, I should be able to have those lists published by the end of tonight on the Facebook page, the Coalition for Protection of Children and Families. And this brings up another point that I wanted to talk about, since you both are here and you both are considered board members of the Coalition for the Protection of Children and Family. And the question I have been asking people, because I share information on the group page for the Coalition for Protection of Children and Families, and people are asking repeatedly and continuously why they can't share this information unless they're copying and pasting it. And the reason is because it's a secret group, and I am asking parents and members of the Coalition for Protection of Children and Families if we are ready to go public as a public group.
Absolutely we can. There's no reason not to share this. What are they going to do? Tell us no? Tell us we're crazy? No, absolutely share it. Put it on your own timeline and have people grab it and share it. They can't control, just like your phone tree idea, which is just absolutely stellar.
Thank you.
Do the exact same thing on Facebook. The more people that grab the information for themselves and have it on their timeline so that other people can grab it and have it on their timeline. They can't control it. It is a technological cascade that Facebook cannot control.
That's right. They can try, like they're trying to stop me from sharing, but I'm like, okay, I'm passing the baton. Who's next?
Right. And I was only able to share that live feed 3 times before it didn't let me share anymore.
Yeah.
Did you offend their standards?
Oh, I'm sure I offended many things, but I don't think it was their standards. I was quite professional. I don't have a potty mouth, although one will slip out now and again, but I certainly scared the living you-know-what out of them. I think we've got some guys peeing down their leg and into their boots.
That's what they did to me about 40 different times. The things I shared, they put down that I was offensive to their standards, and I thought, you got to be crazy.
They have no standards. When they allow half-naked women or porn or these pedophile sites, I'm sorry, you have no standards. Take your standards and shove them.
I understand. I just it's very. I guess somehow or another that needs to be brought to light of what they're doing.
That's a great point. You know what, Lyra? Can you write that down somewhere? I don't have a piece of paper in front of me. That's an excellent point. Because the narrative does need to change.
Well, there's been several other people that I know, like Holly Dyke, and there's somebody else that have been shut down. And it just seems to me like Facebook needs to know that we as a group are going to share this of what they're doing, so that, in quotes, it shows that they are not for the children of America.
Who's been shut down?
Huh?
Who's been shut down? Who did Facebook shut down?
Well, they had Holly Dyke was one of them that they wouldn't let her post some things, and there's a couple others that they couldn't post. And it was about the same time that I had like 40 different things, and two things that they said were, one was a picture of a little boy in a room in a corner, and he had on a pair of underpants, and he was sitting with his knees up and his hands over his knees, and they said that was sexual. And I said, that's not sexual.
maybe to a pedophile that's sexual, but that absolutely is not. If anything, that's a very visceral image. Is this all under the same offense, the offensive standards by Facebook?
Yes.
That this is the offensive, but that was those two. There was another one, but those two were different than the rest of them. They said that I had that it was oh, what do you call it? Scam, I guess it was something like that.
Yeah, I'll show them spam. It comes in a can. The people in Hawaii love it.
They eat it with rice and gravy.
I'll buy them a whole crate and send it to little Zucky boy. I have no problem with that. With my compliments, sir, here's your spam. There you go.
So,
But I mean, it's happening enough, and if we don't say anything, if we don't tell people this is happening, it's going to keep on happening. It's because the people who had it done to need to come together and say, okay, this happened to me, and give the names of the ones who had it done to them.
And they can't shut us all up.
I was on the phone, and the call dropped. Hello, Pamela. I was on the and so I just hurried up and got home, and hoping the meeting was still in place. But there's something real sinister about being politically correct, because what we've done, we've really gone down a rat hole, and we've lost our freedom of speech, because they've created this environment where words are so sensitive to words that every time, and we had this big battle back in the 60s. Well, and I was a part of that. There was a free speech movement. Okay, and sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. Mm-hmm. In the public forum, everything should be okay to say. It's just a word.
Right.
Okay? The main thing is that we get clarity in what we understand, and we communicate freely. And not everybody has the same syntax, or the same words, or the same upbringing, or the same way to express themselves. But we all know the truth when we hear it. And that's what we should be concerned about. And
no, I said it last night, because your generation, Dale, your generation showed my generation, this is the proper way to do this. This is what peaceful protesting looks like. Not Occupy, not throwing Molotov cocktails because you don't like the person speaking at a college, which is
not killing somebody.
Okay. Dale's generation really did show us in the 60s, this is how it's done. Now they flip the tables because they're in power, and they're doing the exact opposite by becoming the very thing their generation railed against, which is almost a conservative fascism, if you will. If you're non-Christian, and if you don't live the 2.5 kids with the white fence and the dog and the 9 to 5 and you get the gold watch, there was something wrong with you. And there was a great social revolution. And I said it last night. They've dumbed down our emotional IQ, forcing us to find 15-minute little reality star lives and drama fulfilling instead of connecting one another and being the human tribe, and the older mentoring the next generation, and everyone watching the neighborhood kids. I remember riding up and down the street until the lights got stopped, and you knew that's when you had to go home. Now you can't do that, or CPS will come to your door.
And the other thing,
in the park and not have any problem, because
the other thing is, don't pay too much attention to words, but pay attention to what people do. Okay, that's what's important, is the behavior. So and the long and the short of it is, if you listen to the conversations. So my best friend passed away after 30 years, but he's no longer here. Or with my friends and business partner, one of my Mark Sarno, my close buddy. You would think that we actually are in a heated argument, and the police need to be called, But that's just a lively discussion, born of passion and what we truly believe, and what our differences are really real. But Mark built a great company on this back and forth, and listening to somebody else's opinion that may be contrary to yours, and try to glean something that, well, maybe what he's saying is really true, and I should think that over another time and take another look at it. So, and this is what people that are rational and have a real healthy cognitive thought process that learn the ability to think. Okay, and that's what we've lost. And there was a book written by Hannah Arendt after the Second World War, and she's a philosopher, and she tried to come up with a rationale as to why really smart, good people do incredibly barbaric, horrific things. And the conclusion she came to was when people lose the ability to think, that's when evil happens. Not because bad people do bad things, but because good people do nothing. And this is what we're a victim. We're a victim, particularly Kelly and your mother and all the families that we're trying to help. They're a victim of that evil. See, because that's when people can take advantage of you and take your rights away from you and act emotionally and have zero tolerance and disregard your constitutional rights and your civil rights. That's what we've got. Evil is reigning right now.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not
Right
anymore.
now, okay, the proof is in the pudding. When you have your baby on your lap, and
I will. I'll show you him after I get him back.
Okay.
Yay.
Okay. And so that's what we're working for.
And that's what
and
has been sharing.
so we stick at it, we persevere, and we keep working. And see, I'm not relaxed or comfortable until that happens.
That's
Okay.
right.
I know.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. We're going to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
There you go. Oh, I was going to say, I was trying to build an analogy. And so we're a team, right? And we want to win. And we're going to say your baby, right? That, the baby is the ball, right? So we want to get possession. We want to get possession of the ball. So you have the ball, you have the baby. And last week, Marge, you said, well, the judge, I was mentioning that my belief was Kelly has the capacity to take care of a kid, and you said, well, the judge said, and I was saying, Marge, you got to get on our team. The judge we're playing the game against the judge, so we don't put any stock or faith or trust in what the judge says.
Okay, what I was meaning on that was that basically I was thinking of ways people go back and use documents from other things to decide who a person is. I was thinking basically the judge wrote the report in such a negative way that it would go against Kelly if somebody wanted to use it that way. And I want to see that document disappear.
Yeah, well, they'll fabricate. So for somebody who's lying, will fabricate anything.
I agree.
And this is the color of authority. It's particularly egregious when they're in the position of a judge and they have the power to decide cases. So I apologize for not being here on time because Pam, what you spoke about earlier was really, really, really important, and I didn't get all of it. So, but this meeting is going to be recorded, and I'm definitely going to go back and go over everything because obviously there's some things happening that are good and in our favor. And so I because I missed every word that most of what she said, I'm not even going to offer an opinion. I'm just going to go back and listen so I can talk intelligently about it. You
And
know.
Dale, I did do a live feed. Lyra has it here. She has the link. So when you go back and replay it, it's my very first live feed. So be kind. I'm not technologically advanced. I'm such a noob.
No.
But there's a lot of good info there that you can get the broader scope. And
yes.
plus with today, you'll totally be filled in. And that way you can articulate any questions that you feel haven't been answered yet. If I don't know, I will tell you, I don't know. I don't have that answer yet. I can speculate or hypothesize from what's coming into me, because my phone it hasn't stopped since Wednesday. It hasn't stopped. And people I've never heard from, hundreds of people, other advocates calling me, telling me what's going on in their state. Wisconsin. I don't know anybody in Wisconsin. New York, just before I went on. I mean, I don't know anybody in upstate New York.
This is the whole thing of the whole purpose of the meeting is when we get these these pivot points where there's a shift in the direction of the wind. We all have to communicate it to each other so we can go to work and make things happen. That's fantastic.
Phone tree, phone tree, phone tree, phone tree.
Phone tree, phone tree, phone tree.
Okay, what about the information that's going to go out to the newspapers? Because it seems to me like from somebody in like the parent advocacy or the coalition, it should be published in the newspapers what is happening.
I'm got a media team and they're putting together several packets.
Okay.
I will bring it to Lyra and you guys. You choose what you want to go out depending on what suits for your part of the nation. What will fly here in the Pacific Northwest will not fly in Oklahoma or Ohio. Okay, so I want to make 3 very different packets that will suit that specific population's understanding and abuses through the system. I'm not going to assume that everywhere is just like California or everywhere is just like Oklahoma or everywhere is like New Jersey. These are 3 very distinctive regions of our country, and my media team finds that certain media I do flies well in the Pacific Northwest but does not resonate well in the middle of the country, or it doesn't resonate well on the East Coast. So we're going to come up with 3 different ways of saying it, 3 different packets, and you can always move me out. It can be anybody in the position of the speaking, but the writing of it and what that person will be talking about are the 3 different versions. I'll bring it here. You guys take your time, figure out what works for what area, and that's when we'll hit them with it. I have collected an impressive amount of private media investigators, and I will put out the call to all of them in packets on all the advocates' behalf, because there's thousands of us. It's not just me. It's not just Lyra. It's not just Dale. It's all of us are putting this forward in. We want you to put this out as the addendum narrative to the current narrative of illegal immigrant children. So they have a hook. We want to make their jobs easy, folks. We want them to be able to hook right into it and sew that new narrative right into the one that's been plastered.
Because what I was noticing is that when people are still talking about it and reacting to posts, they're still not, they're not cross-associating between immigrant children and what happened to them and CPS taken children. They're thinking in slots of, well, this is about immigrant children, so what is it going to have to do with us? Well, it has a lot to do with us, but some people just don't, they only see black and white.
Well, you know, Marge, I was thinking, I've been thinking about this for the last 3 days. Isn't it really, really strange how quickly all these immigrant children were spread around the country like fairy dust, and all of a sudden they were shepherded into situations, and all of a sudden nobody knows where they are. Okay. Well, the whole federal child care agenda is obstructing justice. Okay, now they're all characters in the play, and it's like, you know, if in fact it's true what's being said, the FBI is acting with the federal public defender's office and saying, okay, well, we're going to have a class action suit, and we're going to have a list of people 20 miles long in every state that are going to jail.
Yes.
So how are they going to find this out? Or is this by looking?
Well, this is okay. Well, once you talk about collusion, you know, right here now you've got the immigration office acting in collusion with the states and the child services protection, and you know, those congressmen that went down to Texas and saw this. Now the government is guilty of cruel and unusual punishment. Yeah. You know, and so there's a litany of criminal charges they've got to follow, and you know, I would say 10 years of litigation would be you know, it'd be a miracle if they can wade through all these things. But what's going to happen? They're gonna boil it down and cut it with milk, and the leaders and the judges and the people that are in a position of authority are the ones that are going to suffer the criminal charges.
Okay, what are we going to do, or how are we going to do about the Supreme Court's decision that Trump makes the decision about the judges? Okay, how's he going to know which judges? Because my judge or our judge basically needs to be reported, but what's the, maybe there's no procedure yet, but it seems to me like
I don't think, Marge, I don't think it's I think the FBI has taken it out of our hands.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that the crimes have been committed. The children, you know, the evidence is the prima facie evidence is where's your baby? Not only where are the immigrants' babies, where are all our babies? You know.
What about
and Marge, let me answer you with this. Procedural courts were never built prior to Mondale Act of 1974, which most lawyers, by the way, have no clue what the hell that is. How the heck did someone like me, a Miss Nobody, know about Mondale Act 74? I looked. Right. Where did this start? When did this change? Because most people, as you, to your point before, most of America believes CPS is there to do a specific job and believes they're doing it.
All right.
Okay.
Right.
They don't understand, or a very small portion understand what CPS is about, and it's those who are affected by it. Okay. The more of us that come out and link up, advocate to parent, advocate to parent, advocate to parent, the more they see, oh, this isn't just 1 or 2%. This is a lot of friggin' people. What's going on? And boom, their heads open up. What procedural courts were prior to 1974 were nuisance courts. They were your traffic courts. They were your nuisance barking dogs, the abandoned car on your street, the meter maid parking tickets. These procedural code of law courts, these admiralty courts, were never set up to adjudicate live human beings. The farthest they went with anything with a beating heart were animals and animal control, okay? It was never set up for children. So the Mondale Act, as poorly as it's written and as long as it bloviates on, did little to remedy that. They treat children like chattel or like a car. It is an entity, a thing that has worth. It has a dollar amount put on it. Not a finite, very finite, not infinite. Children are priceless to me. How can you put a black line of this is how much money we can make, and you can't get your kid back until we've gotten every last dime that we know that we can make off your child? So these procedural courts will be taken out of the process of adjudicating, because if you're truly an abuser of a child, you're going to be in jail in an orange jumpsuit behind bars. Period. End of story. You're a criminal. The rest of these that are poor homes, the rest of these that are homes that have had a divorce happen, a struggling single mother, county services that already exist will come into the home as family preservation units. It
Amen.
makes the most sense. It is what we had prior to Mondale. It worked then. As a nurse, as a therapist, as a strategist in business, I don't see why that would not work today, and our tax dollars would be used better by it.
Amen.
Yeah, Pamela, that's exactly the model that I want to build with the universities for all these students that are going through these social classes, that every class adopt a family, and 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, if there's a need or special needs or a situation where they're handicapped or mentally ill or they're suffering with drug abuse or chemical dependency, that there's a program tailored for that individual family.
The entire family, not just taking it apart and destroying it because somebody has flaws. We're all flawed. We're all human.
Hey, welcome to the club of mortality. And Trump, President Trump can't pick and choose. He's got to decide either immigrants are murderers and rapists in this, or in the case of Mexico, World Cup champs.
That's right.
You know,
I have two questions. One is about child support. What Kelly's like is supposed to owe $1,500 in child support. And the other question is, what about forced adoption? What does that do to the people who have lost their children and have had them living for many years in under forced adoption? What happens with them?
I would imagine Dale's going to answer this much more eloquently than I could.
okay, well,
to say in a speculation.
The missing component here is the husband, the breadwinner, is a thing, just like the baby. Okay. Now, if the husband's a breadwinner, okay, rather than put him in jail, let's get him a job, because the reason why he's not paying the child support is he's struggling to pay his rent and struggling to eat, and struggling to so let's not slap somebody because they're starving to death in the Sahara Desert. Let's get some topsoil and some water in there so they can grow some food.
Okay, but the thing I'm asking is, okay, what does that do to what happens to, like, her being told by the state that she owes $1,500 in child support when they stole the child to begin with? And I've been reading back and forth. It seems like it's kind of up in the air whether it's legal or not. But I want to see a definite answer as to what her responsibility is.
Well, Marge, the problem is that once they got off of jurisprudence, okay, and they've shuffled everything under administrative law. So what they've done is all these executive agencies have pulled these policies and procedures out of their rear end that have nothing to do with civil law. And this is like giving the President of the United States the authority to go to war without the Congress voting a majority of a super majority of 66% before they can even get involved militarily. See, they figured out a way to bypass the Constitution, and all this nonsense that's gone on is because they've taken everybody's civil rights away from them, everybody's constitutional rights away. So the whole thing has to and this is why Congress, if they give the responsibility to the executive office, the governors in the states and the president in Washington, they don't have to take responsibility for starting it. They can look, they can blame the president and not take any responsibility because, well, the president went to war, we didn't, and so this is just everybody pointing, saying, well, it's their fault. And that's what President Trump, well, it's the Democrats' fault, it's their fault, and you got to turn that finger around. And that's the Truman had a little plaque on his desk. The buck stops here. Okay, so what we have is a bunch of leaders that don't want to take responsibility or anything, but they want to declare leadership.
Okay,
So the
but
whole thing, the whole thing is rotten to the core.
Coalition, whatever, parents coalition.
Everybody's
Lyra.
victimized.
She'll
But-
have that plum tree on her end.
And in this case, you know.
And
So
what,
this is the,
Wait, I'm not, okay.
what
okay.
we're saying is that when the DA and the FBI and the DHS do the investigation in your county of the social service CPS or DHS that took your child, took other parent's child illegally, violating your rights, that you are no longer responsible when they have found that those departments and the employees in those departments have committed fraud and committed atrocities against you. You are not responsible for any bill. They are the ones that are responsible for the damage they have incurred on your family.
So I'm not,
because
okay.
because the rest of what she's saying is basically the rest of the things that happen that to get your child back and report what they did wrong is that it wipes out their right to any money from you. They don't no longer have a right to ask you for money.
Okay, but why do they give me money? I mean, well, give me the bill every
That's
month?
because this just happened.
see, Kelly, what's taking place is they put the burden of proof on you. That's Napoleonic law. To prove that you're capable of taking care of your children.
Right.
And now what's happening is we're going to go back to jurisprudence, which they have this, the burden proof on them is to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that you can't take care of your kid.
And when you have advocates
and that means that they can't do that.
Right.
Because you have to be given a due process. And you have to be given, and what you weren't given. Decisions were made without you, so all of your rights were pushed aside. And the burden of proof was put on you, the somebody who's least capable. Okay, you're not financially equipped to defend yourself, and emotionally, physically, any way. The minute they take your child away, you're destroyed.
Oh yeah, because they put that kid on the end of a stick, and they hold the stick like this, and your kid's dangling at the end of the stick. They got you.
Right.
Okay. Now, what about the forced adoptions?
Well, again,
okay, the minute the judgment is rendered in your favor, that child is now that they've traumatized the kid. They've allowed the kid to become a part of somebody else's family, and so that walking that back, that's why Trump is in a really, really big pickle, because all of this has to be walked back. All the time has to be spent to reconnect the families together and undo what they've done, so this, and that at some point in time, somebody's going to have to make the bad decision that these placements are permanent, because we can't walk them back. We don't have the capacity to walk them back.
Dale, you don't know what's happened. South Carolina, Thursday night, I get a phone call at midnight, my time, Pacific Northwest time, California time. It is 2:00 in South Carolina in the morning, 2 a.m. FBI says to this mother who is waiting in 3 weeks to have her last visit with her daughter that they are adopting out. She is not allowed to say it's her last visit. She is not allowed to say goodbye. She has to act as though this is a normal visit, and she hasn't seen this kid in 6 months. 6 months. They said, come pick up your kid, not come pick up your child, not, hi, this is who I am, please come pick up your daughter. Come pick up your kid, you've got 20 minutes. This was a woman who had been taken down to nothing, near homelessness, okay, lost her job, barely had a half tank. Thank God she reached out to another advocate here in California. We raced around, got her $100. that's gas to get to Charlottesville, back to her home, and on the way home, stop and get a few things for in the morning so the kid could have breakfast. Because literally this woman was taken down to nothing. This is going to be the second part of the issue, is getting these parents resources who have been taken down to nothing. And it can't be from our tax dollars, from the government doling it out, because that'll be another mess. It needs to come from us.
This
Okay,
sounds like a fundraiser for this particular.
So, I mean, at some point in time, is there going to be an expectation that Kelly's going to get a call?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I have every confidence when we get this ball rolling in her case, and the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security. I thought it was Department of Human Services. I was so wrong. I was corrected, and I was corrected by one of my betters. It was the Department of Homeland Security with the county DA that are coming through these, which is why that South Carolina woman got a call at 2 a.m. in the morning. Come get your kid.
How long has the kid been? How long has the kid been in custody?
Almost a year.
Okay, so and is there a cutoff point? 1 year, 2 year, 3 year? No.
From my understanding, every single case, even if it was closed and the child's been adopted and out of your home, you can still make these complaints. This is the process to get them into your case.
Okay.
Okay, that's my understanding. If I am wrong, I will eat my hair, my words, my whatever. But this is my current understanding.
Yeah, Kelly and Marge and Lyra, are we well aware of what the complaint process is, and who do you go to?
Yes, Pamela has given us the link. We need to do a fine-tooth combing of it. She's also provided information that I shared here in this meeting. Don Rufty has written up a report about what's happening and what we can do as parents. And the whole thing that you were just talking about, where children are being returned immediately, parents are being called in the middle of the night. This sounds like we need to be setting up a fund that's especially geared toward helping these parents immediately who do not have any resources at all.
Right.
My next question, are right now, if you got a phone call, Kelly, are you in a place where you can get to that location?
You better believe it.
Yeah, we will.
And I mean, in a timely enough to because and that's all that's all they gave her was how long?
20 minutes, and they signed out the kid like she was a piece of property, like a coat hat check. She got a piece of paper, ordered to home, and it was signed by an FBI agent. Wow. Temporary at home, no PCO standing, permanent orders to be mailed to the home in the next 30 days. Boom, done. Well, I'd never heard anything like it. It blew my mind. I had my phone going all the way past midnight.
Were they aware that she had the capacity to get somewhere in 15 minutes?
No. They didn't even know she had a car. But I'm understanding too, anybody can take you. This is why the advocates call to begin this process, so the advocate can be there and involved at the end of the process to help the parent in any way. So I put a call out for, if you've got a Target card, if you've got a Walmart card or a gas card that somebody gave you and it's just sitting around, put that in a little spot that says resource. So when we have a parent that goes, I got the call, we can send that immediately. Get it to that person in our state, overnight, whatever. Get these resources through PayPal to that parent, through Western Union. Go to Lyra's site, go to your state and say, hey, I've got resources. I can't do much, but I've got a Target card for $100, because at Target and Walmart, you can get food and clothes.
Well, if we know the call's coming, we have to be prepared in advance for that.
And we didn't know the call was coming, Dale. We had no clue. I was taken aback. I've never seen a process like this legally or otherwise. Honest to God, I've never seen anything like it. I was blown away, which is why I put out the call.
That's an order of mandament by a Supreme Court federal judge.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was that's what I was trying to say. That Kelly and Marge needed, because
and what is that again?
It's an order of mandamus.
Mandamus, okay?
And it's sketchy, but if a federal judge can come in and rule over any state, and that's an order, it's a federal order, and it's usually exercised by federal marshals, state,
Right.
but in the way they've combined all these agencies, that's the Homeland Security seems to be the cop on the beat, you know.
I think so.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Well, this is profound.
Right?
And,
I mean, I'm not an alarmist. Lyra will tell you she's known me long enough. She's met me in person.
Yep.
I don't get on here. I don't talk about me. I'm too busy helping parents. So
yeah.
when I put out that call, I was hoping people who knew me understood it was the clarion call. Something has changed, a tectonic shift, and I'm seeing it in my own backyard in Sacramento County and now San Francisco County with my clients, with my own two eyes. So
This is going to be the order of the day until it reaches the Supreme Court.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So-
I have a suggestion. I think that somehow it should be put at the very top of every group that this has happened. Checked about an advocacy, something like that. Because what I'm seeing, because I was looking today to see what anybody was knowing about this, and people are confused. They don't know really that this has happened.
Right.
So somehow, some way, it has to be bold. That it has to be some way that it's worded so that it attracts attention and it gets people to look at it and see that this has happened, and that it isn't a matter of hearsay. And the other thing is that the people who have had their children adopted and out for years, they need to be told that this includes them, and that they need to do the things that everybody else has to do, and they will get their children back. And I don't know exactly how.
With caveats, Marge. Remember what I said not too long ago. If you are a true abuser, or if that child's parents died and there's no family, okay, these are children who were adopted the way they should be into loving families. This wasn't it shouldn't be a CPS tug of war out of a fit home with happy, healthy, loved children with lots of family being taken out of the homes. If you've shot yourself in the foot and you've abused your child in any way, neglected your child, putting cigarettes out on its skin, sexually molesting it, beating it to the point of near death, you have no business having a child in your home. I can't help you.
Okay,
I'm talking to the 80 to 90% of people who have had their fit, loving children out of fit, loving homes from fit, loving families taken from them. These procedural courts are about to get hit with a sledgehammer they don't see coming. And it's going to be done at the top federal levels. Procedural courts will no longer be part of this scenario. So it won't matter what some judge said 2 minutes ago, 2 years ago, or 20 years ago, because Mondale 74 will be wiped off of the books and we revert back to the 1960s model.
But this is what I'm saying is that, okay, I agree with you, but what I'm saying is these parents who had forced adoption, who had did nothing wrong, need to know that this is something, that the procedure that they need to do, and they'll get their children back. I mean,
Agreed.
So
I think that there's so many people that gave up about, well, that was adopted, there's nothing I can do. Those people have to be boldly told that this includes them if they were taken illegally, if the child was, the child was in a forced adoption and the parents didn't anything wrong, then please, please, please seek out help to file your claim again with the
DA office, your county DA office. That's right. So we can put that together. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be working tonight to get all of the DA numbers for every county in the country published to that phone list, the photo album that I share on the Coalition for Protection of Children and Families Facebook page. And then, you know, some of what we're doing here, so I have copied Pamela's information about what she has expanded on tonight. And this is the photo album. It's the state by state, country by country reform project. And this is something that anybody can go to on Facebook. And once you click on this photo album, you will go and find, it takes so long for this to work. Oops. Well, that's our website, our web page, our Facebook page, and there's information here. And then you can also go to photos, and we have listed. I know that it's a little complicated, but this is to ensure that we're able to connect all across the country in the phone tree and be able to support each other, because this is what it's all about. This is for the love of our children. Children's lives matter. Families matter. That's what the Coalition for the Protection of Children and Families, Save Our Children, and other organizations out there that have been working so hard to get this information out to parents everywhere are, you know, this is the main goal. And we want to connect people. We want to connect parents. We want to connect advocates, because we are strong when we are united, when we are working together. And one advocate is worth 50 parents, okay? But we have 500,000 families that we need to assist here. So we need advocates all over the place coming forward to assist in these states and in these different counties. And that's what we're doing here with this.
Lyra, on that note, I want to make it that I am aware anywhere in Los Angeles County, and this is where the largest violations in the country have taken place.
Oh, second.
Okay.
Sorry. Second.
Which is the first?
San Francisco, California, Pelosi, Frankenstein territory.
Okay. Well, Lyra, if you get find somebody that needs to be taken to pick up their kid, I've got a car with a child care with a seat in it, and so just get a hold of me and I'm off. Okay.
Maybe do a resource page, because I'm telling you, I know a lot of us would say, hey, I'm available in the evenings, or I'm available in the mornings. I can do this. Each one of us can do something.
24/7.
And
you know,
then
you get
I
that
also
call.
want to set up a fundraiser page for us to be able to have people, parents, families, grandparents, you know, grandparents are important to this whole mission as well. Everybody should be included in this. And I know that there are parents out there that are at odds with their grandparents.
I'm going to get to the point, I'm going to go to the point where I'm just going to cold call. I go and cold call on the telephone. I say, listen, I'm a advocate for a volunteer for families for protection of children, and a coalition for families for protection of children and families. And I'm looking for volunteers who have an automobile that have the and can get a child care seat and be available to go pick the parent up and that don't have transportation, and get over there and get the child.
Absolutely. Great idea.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do, Lyra, is just now the thing is to build a network of volunteers.
Yep.
You know, and the easiest way is, strangely enough, cold calling is the easiest way to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
And Lyra, tell people, you've got those leftover cards that people have given you. You know, there's some people that won't shop at Target, or they won't shop at Walmart, or they won't use a gas card, or whatever. Fine, we'll take them.
Yeah.
We'll take them. We'll distribute them. You know, let's say, hey, send me, you know, if Dale says, I need 50 Target or Walmart cards, send them to me. I'm going to put them in the mail, lick some stamps on them, and it's overnight to Dale so that he can give them out to his community.
Yeah, I
and
can
get these hooked up with down there, you know,
on an ad hoc
each other.
On an ad hoc basis, I can go to the board of the UFK. They are a 501c3, and they can say, yeah, I can be designated as an individual to receive those cards, and I can send them the paperwork so that their donation is tax deductible.
Excellent. And
Okay.
People love tax deductible. I won't be an NPO for another 30 days. I won't become a 501c3, but I will be a not-for-profit, private organization.
Yeah.
So we can actually give people, because people do like to be able to take it off their taxes. It makes them feel good. I did something good. I want a little something for it.
Yeah,
Nothing
and
wrong with that.
it's a benefit. It's one of the good things that the government has, is that it gives us a capacity to accept money and do some good with it.
And most people don't like to give cash. They feel better about giving a card, because that way they know that person is going to use that card at that place. You know what I mean?
It's just this card, so when we use that card and it's used for the gas in my car to get there to pick up a kid, there's a paper trail. So it's not like we're defrauding anybody. What's up?
Right.
Oh, okay, I have a question. My question is, okay, where do you go get the child from?
You are actually picking them up. It's my understanding from my South Carolina story that I told you, at 2 a.m. getting a phone call. Can you imagine? You're emotionally preparing to say goodbye to your child without saying goodbye to your child, knowing that's the last time that you're going to see them. This system has completely crushed you. You have nothing left. And 2 a.m. you get a phone call. Come pick up your kid. You've got 20 minutes.
Right.
Oh my God. So literally it's one of those, I'm thinking we're just getting the first herky jerkies out. Eventually we're going to start getting, on this date and time, you'll meet us at the County Division CPS building, which is where this woman had to go, which was 20 minutes away in Charlottesville.
Okay.
Okay.
In foster care.
But he's up in Liberty.
He's in Liberty and he's in
Liberty,
foster
Missouri.
care. But so, are you going to go to the foster parents' home, or where?
No. They will call you and they will tell you where to go. And more than likely, it will be more consistently 7 days a week, 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 or 9 to 9 at the county original CPS building that is no longer a CPS building.
Oh, okay. So where?
Well, listen, ladies, I apologize for not being here earlier. I'm really excited about this. So what we can do is we need a massive network of volunteers. You start with your churches, start in your schools, and the Parent Teachers Association and the congregations in your churches. It's going to come from people who are already organized to do good and help children. That's where we're going to get our support. So you have to go out and reach out to those organizations. And Kelly, that's something, if I was a broker and you were one of my real estate salesmen, I'd say, well, spend so much time doing this. Take an hour a day and just talk to the churches in your area and get a list of people who are willing to volunteer to help. Because when this tidal wave comes, we're going to need hundreds of thousands of people, literally.
You get them connected as best you can with phone numbers. You try to get email addresses for everybody.
Get a list and build a list of volunteers. So and this has to do with you, because we're going to have to get a volunteer that's designated for you to call, so you can jump in the car and go get the baby.
Where are you guys?
We're in Lee Summit, Missouri, near Kansas.
I have 3 warriors in Missouri that I can hook you up with.
Okay.
I have 3.
Okay.
I have 3. Okay. And Lyra, I will send them to you to sign up on your page.
I have a good excuse, because I have to go pick up my granddaughter.
Okay.
Because she is going. It's a sleepy time with Grandpa at night. So she's right now. She's wondering where I am. So I got to get over there and get things squared away. Okay. All right.
Thank you, Dale.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Okay.
We'll
Bye-bye.
keep in touch and get these connections going. Thank you.
Okay.
Lyra?
Yes.
I was wondering, we're talking about children. What about your children?
Well, it's going to be the same for me. I've got several advocates that will be calling in, and I have all of my information already put together, because I did the request for administrative review and itemized all of the violations and the people who violated my rights. So that's what I need to do for my case, is to sit.
So how soon do you think you look to getting him back?
Probably it's going to take about 3 months because my case is so far into the adoptive process.
Oh, okay.
You know, I have hopes that it would be quicker, but you know, 3 to 6 months is what I'm looking at. And luckily, I do have the resources needed because I have been saving up. I didn't spend frivolously. I didn't go pay for a public pretender or any of those thieving lawyers out there. I said, oh, okay, I need to make sure that I have enough to be ready to get my children back. And now is the time. And so, you know,
Okay.
it's a great thing for me. It's a relief to be able to know that I can do this and that there are people in my area that I have been studying with and working with at school that will step up and be advocates for me. I have two psychologists, in fact, that will be advocates for me. So get the best possible advocates you can in your area, as well as myself and Dale, and we'll get this ball rolling for you as well, Kelly. Okay.
Okay. The other thing is, what do we do about the lawyers?
Don't.
What about them?
That.
Well, what I need to know is how we need to contact them, because I don't know if they'll know this has happened.
Probably, yeah.
Don't contact them. You don't need to.
Okay.
You don't need to talk to lawyers. What? Right, right. And they're all in on it. Whether you pay for a private one or you're issued a county pretender, it's all the same game, ladies. Don't spend your money on a private if our tax dollars are giving you a county pretender, because you're going to get the exact same a-hole. Okay? Sorry, but there it is.
Right.
And they don't need to know what you're doing. They don't
Nope.
need to know that you have people who are advocating for you to get your kid back. They don't need to know that you're calling the DA office on them. I mean, that is a part of it. They're the solution. So they
IAC.
investigate it as well.
Yep, their licenses are going bye-bye. They have any hopes and dreams? We're going to take those too. You bet.
Okay, I just
Okay. I was just wondering.
so there's not going to be any restrictions, like the DFS is not going to come in and say, oh, we need to check your house before this can happen.
No.
Because DSF won't be in existence anymore. They will be tied, bound, and gagged.
Okay.
You will be dealing with different entities. You will no longer be dealing with CPS once this is rolling in your case.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
All right.
And so with that, Pamela, thank you for telling us all of this great information. It's so exciting. Let's not get reckless here. We need to be calculative in our actions. Okay? This is just the push that we need, though, right here. What is happening with the illegal immigrant status and the situations with those children has spurred a whole new way of dealing with this. And now we can go ahead and move forward and just slay them.
Yeah.
I'm losing my voice here. I'm so excited. Sorry.
It's all good. I've lost my voice a couple of times this week. It's okay. It's all right. We're all going to sound like this soon.
One of the things that it's kind of an answer to a prayer in more ways than one, because we were just talking about Michael will be 5 the 3rd of August. And we were hoping we could get him back for his birthday, but it looks like it's really a possibility.
Yeah.
I tell my clients all the time, don't spend emotional energy building bridges to places you may never travel.
Okay.
Don't put hard times and dates on this. For once, ladies, let this be what it's going to be, and ride on top of the wave and let it carry you to shore. Okay? Okay? We don't have all the answers. We can speculate. We can hypothesize. But until we know, and I want you guys loaded for bear on what's knowable, what's verifiable information, and let's operate on that until more information comes in, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Love you guys.
Love you too. Thank you. And I hope everybody who has been watching this tonight will learn a lot of information and be able to connect on our profile the whole portfolio of states that we have listed at the Coalition for Protection of Children and Families on Facebook. And, you know, we just want to give you the knowledge that you are not alone here. We are all in this together. And as long as we keep remembering, this is for our children. This is for the love of our children. And
Right.
we can make it happen. Working together, we can do this.
We need to remember that this is God's timing, and like you said, don't put a time on it, but because basically you can't, because
Right.
God's in control, and
Right.
when He's ready, He'll be ready.
That's right.
Yeah.
Amen to that. And everybody just be sure to spread the word. We want all parents and all advocates to be in on this. This is no secret. There is nothing secret about this. This is our time. Our time is now. It's time to charge forward. And we will be sharing links for every state, county by county, DA offices, how to contact them. And we're also going to be working on setting up a GoFundMe account or some sort of reserve account for people to donate funds, cards, gift certificates, and other items that families will be needing when they become reunited. That can be such things as strollers even, and bunk beds, and clothes, and toys, all of these things. So this is a big, big project. I'm so glad that we're all on this path towards, yes, oh God, I can't even speak, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you that in Missouri, it's Missouri Division of Family Services. That's what it goes by.
Okay.
Yeah.
Missouri Division of Family Services.
DIFUS. Yeah.
Jackson County is the
Jackson County.
Jackson County, Missouri Division of Family Services.
I love that. Jackson County, Missouri. I love that. I'm a Yankee, so I say Missouri.
Yeah, me too.
Like I'm 2 and trying to learn my vowels.
Either or.
Either or.
I'm not gonna be
Missouri. Yeah, Missouri.
Missouri. I love it.
Well, so Pam, would you like me to send you the link for the photo albums so that you can get those advocates linked up there?
Absolutely, please. So it's just easier. And you know, I'm a tech noob. So God bless you for being kind to me. I appreciate it.
God bless both of you for being the wonderful people you are.
Right.
Aww.
Well, thank you all. Thank you. And hopefully I will figure out my video issue. There's something going on. There's somebody who's wanting to give me another computer too. So.
Although it's a beautiful picture of you, I must say. I love the flowers and the hair.
Yeah, that was my wedding in 2003.
Oh, you were beautiful. Well, still are beautiful, but that's a beautiful picture of you.
Oh,
A fair, beautiful representation of our Lyra.
Oh. Well, you look wonderful too, Pamela.
Oh.
I'm just, yes,
I love you.
Love your hair.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking really good. I mean, well, when we're happy, that's infectious. That's why I have a dog named Tigger. He smiles and it makes everybody else smile. I mean, how could
He's
you not?
such a good boy. He is. He's a sweet dog. I love Lyra's dog. He is. He's a good boy.
Good boy.
Yeah,
Well,
he is. All right, guys, I'm going to take off. I've got about 4 calls waiting. Hopefully they're all good news.
hopefully, yes.
Yeah, good night.
Thank you.
Night, baby.
Good
Night. Night.
Well, we have completed another wonderful meeting of Parent Advocate Network, and we hope that you learned a lot of information from tonight's meeting. And be sure to check in and join us. We meet every Saturday from 7 p.m. to about 9. We have the Zoom platform, and I am hoping to be able to connect with the Facebook share as well. I see that the feature is there. I need to schedule some work time for that now. So I want y'all to know that I love you and I'm praying for all of you, and we're gonna win. we're working together. We're going to win. We're going to get these families reunited once and for all. And it's going to.
Thank God for miracles.
Yeah, miracles never cease.
Don't expect them. Prepare for them.
I know. I'm just saying that that's the truth saying. Miracles never cease. It means it can a miracle.
Anytime.
Yeah, miracles
Yes.
happen anytime. So.
That's right. Amen to that.
Yep.
Well, you ladies have a good night, and
Thank you.
we'll talk soon.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. And you
Good
too.
night.
Good night, Lyra.
Good night,
Good
Lyra.
night.
Yeah.
Bye.
God bless you.
God bless you too.
There you
Thank
go.
you.